Hello everyone, welcome to Edge Time. Today I will be doing a new sort of type of video that I've not done before, and it is going to be a restoration video. I've done maintenance videos before, but this knife is in need of a little more than maintenance. This is a knife from one of my friends. He actually lost this knife in his garden for a while, and he found it, but it is in rather rough shape. As you can tell, the clip is extremely loose. It's very rusty. The action is terrible. It is in need of some edge work. So yeah, he was going to send it into Benchmade, but I said, hey, I do this sort of stuff. Mind if I take a try at it? He was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. So here it is. I will do my best to get this thing back to like new condition, and we will see how that goes. So this will likely be a multi-day thing for me because I don't always have a lot of time to put into it, and so there will be a lot of editing and jumping around in this video. But I hope you all are able to bear with me for this. I think it's going to turn out great. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go and start tearing this down here. Grab my tools here. Most of these screws are most likely T6. Start by taking off the clip as always. Good news is, doesn't look like there is a whole lot of Loctite on these. I don't even think I said what this is. Maybe I did. But this is a Benchmade 943. I actually don't know the model name of this, but this is an Osborne design. So yeah, pretty cool. It's kind of like the 940, but it's like this big old crazy clip point, which is very interesting. I don't honestly remember seeing this knife before. So yeah, here it is. But without further ado, let's get back into this. So let's see. I've actually never taken apart an Osborne, but it looks pretty simple. I think that this is probably Cerakote, so I obviously won't be able to re-Cerakote this. I do not have that level of expertise or knowledge. Well, I don't have the equipment to do it, but aside from that, I don't think I could do it even if I did have the equipment. Let's see. So those two are through screws. That's nice. We don't have stop pins. Wait, well, maybe we do. Maybe we do. I'm probably speaking too soon. Oh, that one's bad. Don't break. Thank you. These are going to be shorter, and I will set them off. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of corrosion under there. Hopefully that's Loctite and not corrosion, but I think it's corrosion. I think these will probably lift off, if it were to be my guess. Just don't want this thing falling apart in my hand. This one's stiff. There we go. That was not bad for a knife that was basically buried in the mud for a while. Ooh, where's our backspacer? Is this titanium? Let's see if this is titanium. Haha! It would appear to be titanium or aluminum, but I think it's titanium that I wouldn't use. Even though Benchmade isn't known to be the most, how do I say this, premium, I still think this is titanium, especially considering the wild colors. Okay, wow, that edge is in bad shape. That will need some considerable attention. And this is S30V, so it's going to be real fun. I say that sarcastically. I hate sharpening S30V. Let's go ahead and take out the pivot. Looks like we do have a captive pivot, which we should have on a $200 knife. $200 plus, probably closer to $250. Ooh. Hope I didn't scratch that, but I find that highly unlikely and inconsequential if I did. Not only is it unlikely, this being Cerakote, it's obviously seen worse. Nice aluminum. Oh my. Well, the Omega Springs held up. That is one thing. I should probably replace these, but I don't have spares on hand unless I wanted to cannibalize my bug out, but I don't think that'll be necessary. I think these are actually in good shape. Probably de-rust them in some way. Oh boy. Have I forgotten how to do this? No, I've not. I know how to do this. Or maybe I have forgotten. Let's see. Do I remember how to do a Benchmade? This is not the same as the bug out, unfortunately. I know how to do the bug out, I think. I think I still remember that, but this is not really the same. Let's see what I can do. You know what? I might just start by just punching out the pivot. That might be easier. That'll probably be easier. Very carefully push out the pivot. Man, that's stiff. Really stiff. Probably have bronze washers in this thing, which is, oh my goodness, well, there's one of them. That's the go-to for Benchmades, which is a good thing. Bronze washers are generally, I'm not going to say they're superior to bearings, but they are definitely more durable. I'm going to struggle with this for a while, aren't I? You can just tell it's going to be one of those. Come on. Or is it just going to lift off? That'd be kind of nice. Why isn't it just lifting off? Shouldn't it just be lifting off? Am I not thinking something through correctly? It should just be lifting off the pivot right now. Oh, this is sort of being a pain. That didn't do anything to the knife, that was just that slipping. Alright, come on. Just come out of there. You've proven your point. Okay, so there's, wow, really nice thick bronze washer. Come on. I think part of the issue is our friend the stop pin back here. Let's find a good lever here. A good lever that's not going to mar anything up. Back end of a pair of tweezers. It's just this stop pin is weird. It's like fluted, and I think it's like, ooh, I think it's pressure fit. Ooh, that might not be good. That might not be good at all if that's pressure fit. I also need something to really try to push on this pivot. Try to get it out of here. I don't want to lever against the frame. Or against the scales, that is. These are aluminum, and even though they do appear to be Cerakoted, they'll still scratch, so I don't want to lever against them to get that pivot out. It's just being a pain. Man, I really hope. I mean, I don't understand why Benchmade has such a penchant for over-securing their stop pins. Because, like, on the bug out, they're screwed in place. On this, it seems to be press-fit in place. It's like, guys, the stop pin can be free-floating. Like, 99% of knives have free-floating stop pins and never have any sort of lock-rock issues or anything like that. We don't need to be hulking our stop pins into place here. They mostly look out for themselves. Of course, I'm talking to Benchmade right now, who are not known for listening to knife people. Well, part of the reason I can't pry this apart is because I'm trying to pry the axis lock apart. I've just realized it's never going to work. I'm being stupid. I wish I could get this back far enough to do what I need to do to it. Maybe I can now. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Got that tension off there. Now, yes. Yes. There we go. Now I can do what I need to do. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, so I was wrong. This is not press fit. It's just weird. This is still not one to come loose. It's just like rusted on there, probably. What is going on? May have to lever this just a little bit. Yeah, there. Perfect. Let's get this Omega spring off of here. These Omega springs seem slightly weird. Nah, that's normal. There. Oh my gosh. What a mess. Let's see. Where do we even start with this? I'm just trying to do some damage assessment here and see what needs to be done. So obviously the blade is going to need to be, well, the edge, it needs some edge work. But let's see here. Honestly, it's not in all that bad shape. It was just incredibly dirty. So what I'm probably gonna do is just clean. I'm gonna actually go ahead and clean up the scales because I'm not gonna be doing any sort of mechanical process to these. So I will go ahead and do these while I have them here on camera. I'm just going to just give the scales a really good cleaning. I'm not going to touch the Cerakote or anything. I'm just going to get them spotless, and I think that will really help the overall look of the knife. Just using my normal alcohol wipes. These should not hurt anything. They never do. Well, they hurt if you get them into like a cut or something on your hand or open skin. Yeah, then they hurt like crazy. But okay, that should be good. For that, I'm gonna get some of that rust off there. Just rust from the clip. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's get this one. I'm going to use a fresh wipe since these are so dirty. Oh my gosh. Start with this side. I'm thinking if I just get all the dirt out of here, the action should be fine. But I don't really want to put it back together just yet because I would like to save. I'd like to only do one reassembly on this because I know it's going to be a pain. So I'd like to limit those. Oh my goodness. I should have just tapped this out or something first before I tried to wipe it out, but I'm going to use one more wipe on this. Everything else should be fairly easy to clean. Like the main thing is I'm probably going to just take like a Dremel with a wire wheel to the to these bits here, these steel bits that have rusted a little bit. And probably same treatment or similar treatment to the blade. I'm going to try to use the Dremel as little as possible on the blade, if at all, just because it'll when you use a Dremel with a wire wheel, it sort of gives a different finish to whatever you're working on, to whatever part of the metal you're working on. Now, like for these, it doesn't matter because you're not going to see these. I just want to de-rust them to remove any friction that might be caused by the rust and to prevent any further rusting. Whereas for the blade, it is very much aesthetic as well as functional. So I want to be careful with how much Dremel work I do on the blade. And this rust is pretty much just wiping off, so I might not even have to do any sort of Dremel work on these, which would be nice. Dremels are very, very handy tools, but generally in my experience, the time when you need a Dremel is when something has become screwed up and it needs to be fixed. So I generally try to avoid using them. I mean, I do have a couple, and they're, like I said, they're very good tools, and they do have uses. They do have constructive uses as well. That they're not just good for fixing things that are broken in a disappointing way, but they are very good for that. All right, that's actually looks really good. I don't think I need to do much more to that. What I am going to do is I have a microfiber cloth over here that I have completely soaked in oil, and I'm going to just wipe this down with that, um, just in order to rust proof it a little bit, or just help inhibit further rusting. It's not going to rust proof it, just help a little bit. All right, set this off to the side. And I'm going to go and clean this one. I might not have to actually do any sort of abrasion on any of this. I mean, I'm going to have to abrade the edge in the form of sharpening, obviously, but I don't think I'll have to do much, if any, mechanical rust removal. I have to say, I mean, considering that, I don't want to set this back down in this pile of dirt. Considering that this knife was, I believe, like my friend said, buried in his garden for a while, um, I think it's actually done pretty well. It's actually held up fairly well. Like Benchmade knives, a lot of people, especially currently, right now in the current state of the knife industry and knife culture, like to hate on Benchmade a lot. And I agree, they are very overpriced for what they are, and their heat treat isn't always the best, etc., etc. Their knives are still pretty good. I mean, they're not bad knives. It's just they're overpriced. So, yeah, it's actually, I mean, it's a decent knife. That being said, I do not plan on getting any more Benchmades because they're overpriced. The only Benchmade adjacent knife that I would consider getting is a Ritter Hogue, like Metal Complex's Ritter Hogue. I really, really like that one, and I would like to have one similar to it. But I don't know, it seems like I've heard something about their Magna Cut not being great. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that's very low on the list of knives I want to get, so. Yeah. So what I like to do on these, and this is very non-kosher, I'm certain, but for bronze washers, I just like to use my chromium oxide strop and just run them back and forth on it, and that gives them a nice polish really fast. Probably better to use like Brasso or something, but I don't have Brasso at my desk. I'm not going downstairs to get it. Where is my strop, though? There it is. Look at that. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much better. Yeah, that is perfectly fine. And really, I'm not even trying to get these perfectly shiny. I mean, they're internal components. They don't need to be aesthetically pleasing per se, but I just want to like remove any sort of grit or dirt from them that the alcohol wipes couldn't get, especially because these are very important structural parts of the knife. I mean, if the uh, if the bronze washers aren't smooth, the action isn't going to be smooth. Let this dry out for a second and then do the same to it. Try to get this more in the camera. Pretty good. I don't really want to do this on my diamond strap, A, because I don't want to contaminate my diamond strap with brass, and B, because I just don't think it would, I honestly don't think it would do as good of a job as this chromium oxide drop. Alright, I think that is perfectly fine. I'm just going to set that off to the side. I'm going to wipe these two off again with a fresh alcohol wipe just to remove any sort of strop residue that might have accumulated on them, which is unlikely. I don't know if I'd say unlikely, but yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. Alright, set those off to the side and set the strap off to the side. Let's try the pivot. That cleaned up really easy. No problems there. Y'all, this might not end up being like the big ol' restoration uh, long video that I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's not like a super short video, but I don't think I'm even going to have to like break it up into separate parts like I thought it was. Oh man, these screws are tiny. I hate tiny screws. Not bad. Let's do our stop pin. Alright, here's the moment of truth. See if we can remove some of the rust from these poor little Omega springs. I kind of doubt it. This almost looks to be more than... Oh my goodness. I was wrong. I thought this was like a little bit more than surface rust, but no, it just wiped right off. So yeah, that's great. That means I'm not going to really have to do a whole lot to this knife other than sharpen it. Especially if the rust just wipes off that S30V, which would be super sweet. It does look like surface rust on the S30V, but it's hard to tell. I mean, it should be surface rust. These super steels really shouldn't be developing structurally compromising rust. But that looks just fine. I'll just make sure to put extra oil on this when I put this thing back together to keep that from happening again. And I'll probably go ahead and wipe it down. That still looks dirty on the camera. Yeah, it is a little bit. Alright, let's get this second Omega spring. I don't know if I've called these coil springs or not, but these are not coil springs. These are Omega springs. Very nice. Alright, I'm just going to make sure these are good and clean, and then wipe them both down with some oil, and then those should be fine. Honestly, to me, this is kind of a testament to the actual durability of Omega springs, and I wasn't even expecting this. I thought these springs would be in terrible shape, but they're fine. They're totally fine, and they've been buried in a garden in Cincinnati where it gets like cold and stuff and wet. Not just like buried in the sand in the desert where it's not really gonna see much corrosion. No, it's like, yeah. I'm surprised they're in such good shape. All right, let's get this blade cleaned up. I was gonna wipe those down with oil. Y'all don't let me forget to do that. I'm not going to worry too much about the rust on the edge because that will sharpen out, obviously, but try to get most of it off the blade. May have to resort to a slight bit of mechanical removal mainly probably just like a brass brush if I can find one. These thumb studs are removable. Do I want to risk it? Let's try it. Let's just try it. Might not work. Eh, eh. Hey, look at that. Let's grab another screwdriver here. Hate this. Look at that. Removable indeed. That is probably not going to want to come out of there. I'm not going to force it. I don't know. It just almost seems like it will. Actually, it probably will if I just do one of these sorts of things to it. And then, yeah, there. Duh. Alright. Well, that's very nice because that will make things quite a bit easier. Alright, this is actually in pretty decent shape. I'm going to look here in a minute for a brass brush and just try to take a little bit of this rust off. So, excuse me for a minute, actually. Thank you all for reminding me. I'm going to go ahead and oil these Omega Springs before I forget again. Alright. Now I'm going to go look for a brass brush for a minute. Alright, found a brass brush. Let's go ahead and get some of the rust off of this. This should work just fine. Usually does. Yeah. Look at that. Brand new. Just gonna be really careful here and the butterfly. Can't be too rough with butterflies. It's actually kind of an accurate assessment of Benchmade. Can't be too rough with butterflies. No, this thing is actually held up pretty well. I'm not really worried about these brass bristles hurting the edge because right now this thing has no edge. Okay, and then, so this is pretty good. I'm going to give it one more rinse over with alcohol, but then as soon as I apply oil to this, it will, I almost said oil again. I don't know why I keep trying to do that. Like I said, one of my other videos, I'm from Northern Kentucky, I say oil, not oil. I don't know why I keep wanting to say oil. But yes, I'm going to put, once I put oil on this blade, it will begin to really just get rid of the rest of the rust. That's just, oil has a special way with steel, and it, yeah, it will actually tend to remove rust, so. Very nice. Ooh, there's some rust there inside the pivot hole. I'm gonna have to Try to get that out of there. Shouldn't be a huge deal. Just put this end in there and try to get it out. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Just give it one more quick little once over with the brush here. And then I think I will go and actually include the sharpening in this video. Alright, this brush is actually kind of coloring the blade yellow a little bit, which, I mean, that'll come right off. That's not an issue. Alright, give this thing one more good clean off with alcohol. Oh yeah, that looks really, really, really good. Oh, wait a minute. I need to actually get inside the pivot here real fast. Inside the pivot hole. What I actually might be able to do is just get in there with this and clean it like that. And that rest might just wipe off mostly. Yeah, that's much better. I'm going to do that just a little bit more just to make sure there's as little gunk in there as possible, because that will hurt our action if there's anything in there. That looks pretty good. Alright, I think that's good. I don't think I need to do any more. Maybe just a little more just cause I just want to try to get this action as close to brand new as possible. Oh, I forgot, where'd the axis lock go? I have hidden it somewhere, because that will definitely need some wire brushing. Where did that go? I must find, oh, there it is. Hiding. I will probably need to wire brush this a little bit. Alright, that should be good. I don't think I need to mess with this anymore. And especially, like, as the knife, as it breaks back in, the wow. I don't know if my phone got that on camera, but, my phone just completely spazzed out. It was like, yeah, it made it look like a category 50 earth, that's not no such thing. It made it look like a category 7 earthquake was happening here in my studio, but yeah, I don't know what my phone was doing there. Let's get one more alcohol wipe for this, see if this rust will just wipe off, which I have a feeling it will. Nope, it's going to take a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean this off a little bit. I'm going to move this off to the side. It's going to be a pain. This is actually pretty rusty in here. There we go. Yeah, this is actually cleaning up really nicely. Alright, I think that is pretty much good for this. I don't think I need to do any more on it. Maybe just a little bit inside here, but I think we're pretty much good. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing another wipe down, and then I'm going to wipe down the blade one more time and coat it with oil, and then I'm going to go and put this thing back together because it's ready to reassemble. I did not think this would go this fast. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I thought this would be like a long restoration process to get this thing back to brand new, but it ended up taking about 37 minutes, and several minutes of that was me just struggling to get it apart. So, yeah, this looks a little dirty. Sharpening actually will probably take a while. I might, I think for the sake of time, I will include sharpening in a different video. But yeah, I mean, y'all will definitely get to see this thing back in action. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. This could use a little more. And I said I was going to wipe down the blade. I would like to think that this knife is probably getting better treatment than it would get if my friend had sent it back to Benchmade. With Benchmade's reputation these days, I'm just not sure how good of a job they would have really done getting it back in action. Now I get a fresh wipe and wipe down the blade. I don't know, they probably would have done an okay job, but it probably wouldn't have been as cheap as I'm doing this for. Which, by the way, is free. I'm not charging anything for this because this is for a friend, and also because this will help out the channel. Yeah. Some things I will charge for, but this is really more of a fun challenge that I willingly took on. He did not ask me to do this. He said that he needed to send it to Benchmade, and I asked if I could do it. And he said yes. So, yeah, I'm not going to charge him for this. Unless he insists on paying me. Yeah, I don't plan on charging him, so. Yeah, if he does insist on paying me, I will see to it that it's not very much, because it's not really very much work. This is fun to me, so. Now, as I continue doing this, I will probably start doing it for other people, and we'll probably start charging, but still probably not all that much, just because this is not, I don't know. I mean, people probably won't pay a whole lot for this. I don't know. I might be surprised. People might be willing to pay a lot for this, but And it's not really super labor intensive. I'm just sitting here playing with knives like I would be doing anyway. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and, uh, let's see, I'm just gonna wipe this thing off just a little bit, get a little bit of this oil off. Don't want to take it all off, but there we go. Alright, let's go and get this thing back together, or at least try to. I think everything is clean and oiled. Let's start by determining the captive side. Both sides are captive. So it does matter which side we assemble it from. Clean this out a little bit more. And I'm going to give this just a little bit more cleaning because this was the first thing I cleaned, and I didn't do it extremely thoroughly, but there we go. That's a little bit better. So which side are we going to start from? I actually don't remember which side had the screw head and which side did not. No, actually I do remember. I can't seem to get this dirt out of here. This is driving me insane. It's just like around the edge there. I think I got it this time though. Yeah, I think it's good. Alright, this side was the side that, oh my gosh, why will this stuff, you know what, heck with it. Get out of there. There, I don't know why the dirt is just not coming out. There, goodness gracious. But it was buried for quite some time, so sorry, all this is actually taking a little more time than I thought it would, because these were not as clean as I thought they were. And this is all like aluminum. I hate cleaning aluminum. Like, aluminum just forms burrs so easily, and just like all these edges are like sharp 90-degree edges that just like shred up the paper towel, or not paper towel, but alcohol wipe, and catch it and make it difficult to wipe across the surface and make it to where it like shreds the little cloth into a million little pieces, and just makes it dirtier than it was before. Very aggravating. I hate cleaning aluminum. Especially roughly machined aluminum like this. Alright, I think we're good though. I don't think I need to do much more to this. And I should put the thumb stud back. Actually, it doesn't really matter if I put the thumb stud back on now, but I will anyway. That goes, come on, that goes in there. Look at that. Nice and tight. Didn't even need the other screwdriver. Alright. Oh, this is a pretty looking knife now. Let's put this in here. First, I actually need to remember how to do this, because I don't do this very often. I don't do crossbar locks particularly often. Okay. This, yes. Starting to remember how to do this now. So I need to put this into here first and put in the appropriate omega spring. Boop, just like that. Put this here up in the top right corner of Massachusetts. which is what this cutout has always reminded me of for some reason. Okay. What am I doing wrong? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Yeah, I think this is right. Yeah, this is how I normally do this. Let's go ahead and put in these 2 screws just to hold this in. I think this is how I remember doing this on a bug out. Is that the right screw? Yeah, that's the right screw. Come on. There. Not bad at all. This looks so much better than it did, honestly. So now let's go ahead and put in our pivot. Or pivot. I'm going to put a little bit. I'm going to clean this a little bit better. It is late now. My eyes will no longer focus correctly. My voice is shot. Because this is the 3rd video I've recorded in a row tonight, I want to say. My voice is getting very shot. Oh boy. There we go. Come on, get in there. Alright, sweet. Now let's begin our knife sandwich process, or pivot sandwich. Need to find my oil. Where's my oil? Specifically my deoxit oil. It's just the one that I like to use for pivots. I do have some actual KPL knife pivot lube on the way. Oh, there it is. There's my deoxit. This is just the stuff that I'm using for now. It's okay. It's not like the best, but it works. Get on there. Yeah, I always forget about how much of a pain this can be. There we go. Come on. Probably not going to... Oh, actually, what I should probably do is... Well, I don't know. This is really not designed to be assembled like this. But... There we go. That's probably the way this should go. And there's going to be tension on this. It's going to be making things more difficult for me. Okay, just pull this back, put this here, push that through. Perfect. All right. I have to say, like, I have my gripes about Benchmade and stuff, but this knife is not even assembled. This knife is in pieces, and this lock still feels very stable. So, big old glob of oil. I don't actually want to. I think this stuff is basically just mineral oil, so I'm just gonna stick it in there in my mineral oil infused microfiber. Boy. Come on. Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and put our other piece on here, and this is always the most aggravating part, is trying to get this to work. Don't do that, please. Even though it looks like I almost cut myself, I actually didn't, because I have a feeling that if I drop this blade edge first onto my finger from 3 feet, it would bounce off. No, it actually probably would hurt, probably would cut, but it's just not very sharp. It needs attention. It needs edge work. It needs some love, which it will get, but not in this video. Yeah, this is why I always hate this part, just because it's always a pain. Always such a huge pain to do. There's like a certain way you have to do it, and I'm not great at it. There we go, that might do it. Gotta lever it into position. Come on. Work for me. There we go. And just getting it up and over this stop pin is going to be what's really difficult. is really not going to want to go up and over that, I can tell. I probably physically can't. It's probably, like, this is probably not the way I'm supposed to do this. I think I know, actually, how this has to be done. You have to put it, like, over the stop pin first. Probably something along these lines. Yeah. Haha. Just like that. I'm not actually sure exactly how I did that, but I think I can repeat it, so it's good enough for me. Come on. Push through there. I know you want to. Let's just release that tension. That might help. Perfect. Alright, that's through now. So now all I have to do is put this other scale on. I have to suck the liners here up into the scale with these screws, which is never fun. It never wants to do it just right. Ah, but it did that time. Sweet. Alright, let's put these body screws back in. I should probably put the pivot screw back in at some point, but oh my. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Yeah, just give it back to my friend like that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The screws, I don't know what I did, but now this screw is supposed to go back here. I was making fun of myself there, not my friend, with that voice. Oh, actually, guys. So the Benchmade 940 or 943 in this case, it has a really cool feature that it's really best if it's installed. It's called a backspacer. Aye, aye, aye. Okay, so this screw should go in the back. Oh my goodness. Yes. Get that not tightened down, just in there. Oh my goodness. That's actually what I wanted. Perfect. I'm very thankful that this has gone this way. This is very, very nice. Very thankful. Perfect. You can kind of still see some of the blue in there from when it used to be blue. It's still, I mean, you can still tell it's blue quite clearly on the inside, but alright, make sure all these screws are snug. I will say, I don't think I've ever had an issue with a Benchmade T6 screw, for what it's worth. Alright, let's put our pivot screw in there. I will deal with the pocket clip here in a minute. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go and put the, well, I'll go and put the pivot screw in, but the pocket clip only had 2 screws when I received the knife, so what I'm going to do, and I believe it was set up, yep, it was set up right-handed. I'm just going to put a screw in each side and not worry about the middle screw because it's not really necessary. Ooh, I don't like that these are going straight into aluminum, which it just occurred to me that they are. So I'm going to be very careful tightening these down because screws that go straight into aluminum make me very nervous. Aluminum strips out much easier than most other materials, so you just don't want to really crank down on it too much. Look at that. Here in a minute, I'm gonna look for any other screws that will fit that middle screw. Alright, that's probably good. I need to... Oh, definitely need to loosen that pivot up a little bit, but oh man, that feels nice. That's butter right there. Whoa. Not too much. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave it like that. Because, alright. Back open she goes. This should only take a second. I was wondering why the tension felt so light. I do that every time, by the way. Action should be absolutely perfect after I do this. Yeah. Okay, this really should be very easy to do. Oh my goodness, unless that happens. I mean, that doesn't really make a difference, but... Get up there. Alright, that's good. That'll work. Like I said, quick, easy. Yeah. This video is almost... Oh boy. This video is almost an hour long at this point, and it will definitely be over an hour by the time I finish. Making it one of my very longest, if not my longest, regular video. Don't do that again. Don't do the backspacer thing again. Goodness gracious. It's, what time is it? 12:15. At least it's a Friday night. Okay. Don't work on Benchmades when you're half asleep. Oh my. I've lost all dexterity and coordination. Alright, there we go. Get in there. Alright, now we can adjust the pivot. Now that we actually have a complete crossbar lock. Oh yeah, that's much better. It's still not drop shut, but that's just the way it's going to be. And it'll break in to where it, maybe I can adjust it a little. But it doesn't feel like there's actually much adjustment to this one. Yeah, I just feel like this one isn't really gonna drop shut no matter what you do, because like if I crank it back this much, it's like really loose. I can tell we're gonna have some blade play and stuff. Well, actually, not really, not much. Yeah, well, we might actually get pretty good action out of this. Ooh, listen to that sound. Hey, yeah, look at that. Not bad for a Benchmade that was buried in the garden for quite a while. I'm gonna tighten that down just a little bit more to right there, right where it's about to. Yep, I think that is appropriate. I think that that's pretty much where it should be. Maybe just the slightest bit looser. I'm gonna OCD with this. There we go. That's perfect. That's where the action should be. Alright, well that's pretty much it. This video is an hour and 1 minute long. Definitely way too long, but this went a lot better than I thought it would, so I'm thankful for that. Thankful I was able to get this thing completely cleaned up. It's in pretty much, I mean, it's not in brand new condition. It's got chips and stuff, but like the action is smooth again. It's clean. It's pretty. All I need to do now is sharpen it and return it to my friends. So thank you all for watching this long, slow, cumbersome, and painful video. I hope you all enjoyed it somehow. And like I said, thank you all for watching. Make sure you check out my other videos. I have other much shorter videos, lots of reviews, disassemblies, overviews, stuff like that. Thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your day.